Okay, I'm just gonna call her Kermit and Friends. Kermit and Friends, how can I help you?
Hi, Alyssa. My name's John Taylor. You don't know me, but I'm one of Mark Cruz's supposed stalkers.
Oh, are you Kelly Taylor's husband?
Yes, yeah, the woman that he slanders and tells lies about, dildo stories, you know?
Dildo stories?
Oh, yeah.
What's a dildo story?
Well, Mark's version is Kelly knew him for 10 years, and we only met him over the internet about 5 or 6 years ago. But when we called him out on his bullshit, he started attacking my wife, saying that she was a groupie for the band. And Charmin, you know, you drank all of this guy's Kool-Aid, and you need to wise up. He's a predator. He's a convicted child rapist, and he's getting restraining orders against him because he's been nonstop harassing me and my wife, people like Harry Brogan, that we're in a community of,
everybody could make a choice to put an end to this and put a truce to this today.
That was my reason in outing him, as I saw him trying to get around kids. And I found, and then especially what he was doing, he was making all these sick, slanderous allegations towards my wife. And this guy is
John, were you on Mark's channel? Were you a host on Mark's channel?
Okay, Charmin's asking a question. I'm just curious.
Okay. Yeah,
I wish I could get you on this stream
John,
right now.
John, were you a host on one of Mark's channels?
Okay, I'm going to ask him that. Just 1 second, Charmin. Okay, so Charmin is asking. I don't know why she's asking this, but Charmin is asking if you were a host on Mark's channel. I don't know why she asked that, but
yes, that's how we initially met.
Okay.
And I was doing a show. I retired from the fire department. I got injured. I found Mark. He was doing this 24-hour show that was supposed to be a news show or, you know, current events. And I took a 4-hour shift on that show dealing with child trafficking because, you know.
Did you guys get any viewers? I'm just curious because right now he has like 7 viewers, this guy.
Back then, you know, we had a few. I went on to do a show on YouTube called The Traffic Report, where we talked about child trafficking issues and had survivors on the show. And I mean, that was, you know, part of, you know, just what I wanted to do after I retired, because I had to have a few surgeries, and that's the only reason we met this guy. Then we found out that he was doing this questionable fundraising, so we just separated.
What questionable fundraising?
He was. There was this thing he called the Reunite America tour, that he was supposed to take a band on tour, and he needed donations to put a banner on his bus that he doesn't have. He owns a camper, not a bus.
Okay.
And he was taking money from people, and I didn't want any part of that. I was doing that show, you know, out of, you know, my past and wanting to help survivors of child sexual abuse, and I wanted nothing to do with fundraising. So that's how we parted as friends.
Whatever their personal beef is, we can all do better than this.
But the thing is, Charmin, they sought us out. Like that guy Mark called me hundreds of times.
But after he was outed on your show, and quite frankly, I think
before.
I think after years of being stalked by these people, they showed up on your show, and your show's next level, Elisa, right? You have put together a beautiful show, and I don't really think Mark wants this to go any farther than it already has. These people have known each other for a long time. What do we have to do to put this to an end?
Charmin, you really need to bring yourself up to date on who you're dealing with. The guy is a manipulator and a predator. The only reason
there's a lot of manipulators and predators in this community. This community is full of narcissists.
Will you let me finish, please?
Sure.
Well, thank you. The only reason we got involved in this was he attacked and slandered and defamed my wife with disgusting, and I can show it to you if you want.
She sent him some video that he showed to everybody, and it was very intimate, and nobody wants to be involved in it. Bob doesn't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I'm sure you don't want to talk about it. I'm sure you don't want to talk about your wife sending dirty videos to people.
If you let me talk, and you just seem to be really defensive about this whole situation.
Well, I think this has gone on a long time. When did this video situation between Mark and your wife happen?
It didn't happen.
When were you a host on his show?
That was about 6 years ago.
Okay.
7 years, maybe. Because we approached his girlfriend with concerns about his mental health after we saw him, going crazy on YouTube and Facebook Live. I've got animals here, so they're making noises. You might hear them. I'm trying to get. Okay, guys, hold on. Okay, well, in attempting to, we liked Jennifer at that time, and we had nothing to think bad about her, and we were advising her that, Mark may have some mental problems with what he's doing. It was the craziest thing we'd ever seen. And then almost immediately after that, he starts making these comments and these web pages and Facebook pages about my wife, calling him at 3 a.m. on Skype and masturbating. Okay. And
is there any truth to that? Because as I understand it, there's a lot of people who saw the video.
No, that's bullshit, Charmin. Okay.
Is there a video? Do we have it recorded? Skype records things.
Well,
I don't want to see the video. I've heard the details. I'm not interested.
You seem like you're a little angry, Charmin, and I think you should calm down a little bit. I can tell you and see what Mark does when he tells his
classic
lies.
Narcissistic gaslighting technique.
When that's what I'm doing?
Exceptional.
So I'm a gaslighter and a narcissist. Okay, I'm trying to tell you the truth, and you don't want to hear it, but that's so you don't have to listen. I'll talk.
No, everybody has their own series. Every story.
Are you claiming
three sides
that my wife actually did this?
I don't know what happened with your wife.
Because you should be really careful with that.
I think it is incredibly strange, the relationship you all have. I think it is incredibly strange that as an employee of his network, this conversation with your wife, were you working on his show? Did you take a 4-hour? Okay, you were still working together for him on his channel. I find it incredibly unprofessional and inappropriate that this conversation with your wife is even a topic. Why would your wife even be calling this man at 3 a.m?
Didn't.
Where is the documentation?
Charmin, if you let me finish, and you seem like you're getting a little bit excited, okay?
I think we're all a little excited about this.
Yeah, when somebody slanders and your loved one, especially your wife, it tends to, it might get you a little excited.
Right. Mark's had his wife be threatened with gang rape and physical assault. And people come after him.
Not by me.
This you guys are like your own little gang. You're like your little ring of networks where you pass off to each other left and right and harass each other. And it seems to be really common in the YouTube community
you seem like
with
you
the
won't let other people
narcissists.
talk, Charmin. So when Mark tells his lies, what he doesn't know is the truth. Okay, and my wife has never been up past midnight in 10 years that I've been married. Okay, so Mark, right off the bat, Mark was saying that she was calling him at 3 a.m. So we're like, really?
Wow. Everybody calm down. All right, Kelly Taylor. Yes, Kermit and Friends.
Yeah, I was going to email you. In fact, I still might give you my take on just what a scumbag this guy is and maybe a little different timeline. When John was helping Mark with his Free America show, he took it seriously. He did 4 hours in the middle of the night for Mark and stayed up all night and did this show and had followers. And he enjoyed talking about what he believed in, which was child sexual abuse. So after a while, John's got a back injury. He really couldn't sit up and do the show, but we stayed in contact with Mark. And we kept watching because he was on Facebook 5 and 6 times a day, going live, helping homeless veterans, taking money for homeless veterans, and, just these. And he kept telling these crazy stories, and I kept seeing right through them. It's like, but you just said this.
Me too.
So around the 4th of July, and he said he was in Desert Storm, and he has PTSD, and he has all these war stories.
Okay.
So on the 4th of July, he's sitting at his house in Gallatin, Tennessee, which he claimed was his recording studio, but it was just a house. And there was people lighting off firecrackers outside. It's like 11 at night. And he's sitting in the dark, and every time a firecracker would go off, he'd cry and wins and this whole big production. And then Jennifer comes back on later crying, saying, "Oh, poor Mark, he's got PTSD." And I feel so, that was all a bunch of horse shit. So then Hurricane Harvey hit, and he's trying to raise money to drive his quote tour bus to Houston with supplies rather than take their pickup truck and a trailer and bring stuff. So he's tried to raise money for 2 or 3 weeks, ended up not going, and we just kept saying, this guy is a scam. He's a sham, and we called
That was obvious to me. He lied so much about so many things. You can't just lie. People can Google things, and they can see things about you. Like you're lying about, I mean, he lied about where he lives. He lied about a restaurant. He lied about the stupid restaurant in Beverly Hills. I don't know why the hell he lied about that. Just everything.
He got so pissed off that John and I and Harry were busting him for being a grifter, him and Jennifer.
Grifter. I call him a Kermit and Friends grifter right now.
Yeah, he is. So he came out with all of a sudden these wild sex stories about me, that I used to follow his tour bus from town to town and masturbate in front of his whole band.
That didn't happen, did it, Kelly?
No, I didn't even know him 10 or 15 years ago. I was with my husband. But and we're in Florida. He's over on the west part of the country. So then he made one show one night real late. These disgusting, perverted stories about me and his bandmates and how I screwed everybody and all this stuff. And it was so horrible that Mark's ex-business partner told us Mark's real last name.
No, everybody knows his last name, Kelly. It's on all the legal documents.
But we didn't know it was Cruz. We didn't know about Mark Cruz.
Oh, okay.
We knew about Mark Connors.
Oh, yeah. If you Google, so here's the funny thing. Like, so I, been in entertainment for a while. Like, if you Google somebody's name and they're not the first person that comes up, like, odds are they're not that like successful. So if you Google Mark Connors, like a doctor comes up. And then if you Google Mark Cruz, like all the legal documents come up. So that's obvious that that's what he's known for. If you Google Taylor Swift comes up first with all her country music, right? But if you Google Mark Connors, like a doctor or like a dentist comes up. So that was the first lie. It's so obvious. Yeah. If somebody lies, I know this from dating, Kelly. I've dated for so many years now. If a guy lies to you on the first date, he's lying about everything from that point on. So I don't know how. And like, it's crazy to me that Charmin, she's so smart. She ran for president. And this guy is like taking her for a ride right now. He's taking her for a freaking ride, and I'm letting it go under my watch, unfortunately. Yeah,
peace and love, Charmin.
It's crazy.
And the reason it's gone on is because once we learned his real name, Mark Cruz, you couldn't find Mark Cruz his record in 2017 when we learned his real name.
Yeah,
we had to pay for it. We had to dig for it, and we found it. And once we did that, he has been coming after us for 4 years now, trying to say that I'm a pedophile, John's a pedophile. My daughter works for the fire department. He's trying to dox her. All calling businesses here saying that we're pedophiles. Called a vet and said that we killed our dog.
So I have a theory. Okay, so this is my theory. My theory is this. That, okay, in the paperwork or whatever I read, I saw so much about this. It's like crazy at this point. I'm so confused. But something I do know is that he was offering that 15-year-old girl like professional help or like something with her music career. Yes. So I think Charmin here, he offered her and Erica a show. Charmin, right? Wait, let me talk to Charmin about this, Kelly. Call me back, okay? Okay, that's Kelly. Okay, so see what Kelly's saying? Charmin, everybody can see it. Why?
Everybody sees something different. We all see something different based off our experiences, right?
Okay.
Right. I have my own set of experience as a survivor of childhood sexual abuse. I have my own set of experiences based off being accused of something, right? We all have our own series of experiences.
Mark is harmless to you. He's harmless to Harry Brogan. He's harmless to me.
That's not true.
It is true. It's very true.
We don't know that.
I guarantee you, if you stop attacking him, you give him enough time, he will stop attacking you.
We've done that in the past, And like I said,
let's talk about Kelly Taylor's career. You want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about Kelly Taylor's career? How about the adult massage classes that she had? You want to talk about that?
Now
Let's talk about your fireman career, John. How long did you work for the fireman department? 1 month, 2 months, and then you hurt your back.
19 years, Bob.
You hurt your back. It had nothing to do with an on-the-job back injury, and yet you're collecting a fireman.
Why are you attacking me? Because you don't feel comfortable.
Because, John, there's dirt in everybody's corner.
Not in
nobody profits from
not
this.
in mine, and not in Kelly's.
Yes, there is, John.
Kelly's worked for a massage parlor. Let's see the evidence, Bob. You're doing the same thing that your buddy Mark Cruz is doing.
Elisa Jordan.
You're talking about letting go and letting God. You're doing the same shit that Mark's done. So
no, I'm saying, John,
concerned
what
about
I'm saying to you, John, is there's a time when you have
you just made a statement that my wife worked in a massage parlor, Bob.
I didn't say she worked in it. I said she owned it.
She owned it.
And if I'm not mistaken, what started this entire
can you back that up, Bob? Do you have any evidence of that?
I'm gonna send Elisa proof of that. So don't worry about that.
Well, I wish you would.
Here's another thing. Here's another thing.
Bullshit, Bob.
I do have
you're doing
John.
the same thing that Mark's doing.
It is on my videos, John. I've turned my screen around and showed the proof
Bob,
to everybody.
You're doing the same thing Mark does. Well, that's horseshit.
No,
Kelly works for the fire department.
Yeah, but you're not getting it, John. You're not getting it. See, he won't let people talk. Can you mute him for just 1 minute?
Oh,
Here's
now I need to be muted.
You need to let other people talk, John. You won't let people talk.
I just heard you, Bob.
No, you ain't heard me yet, John. I'm not done yet, John.
More slander?
No, not slander.
Bring it on. Yeah, what you just said is slander.
All right, I'm just going to talk, and he can interrupt all he wants. Look, here's the thing. There's a lot more going on here.
A lot.
You're not understanding. The very root of why Kelly Taylor started going after Mark Cruz is the fact that Mark Cruz owed her money for sex.
Wrong.
And I know that because I was on my radio station. There was only 8 people watching it total, and she owed him $150 for putting that strap on.
More slander, Bob.
So don't talk to us about what we
you should be
don't
ashamed
know.
of yourself.
This come out of Kelly Taylor's mouth.
You should be ashamed.
It came out of Kelly Taylor's own mouth, John.
Kelly's right here.
This is not Mark that said this.
Another lie, Bob.
I know.
Yeah, everything's a lie when it's directed to you, right? Everything. You've never done no wrong, right?
When you have no argument, you resort to lies and slander.
Take me to court then. Let's bring it out in court because I guarantee
Bob, you ain't got nothing. You're not worth taking to court. But you, like your buddy Mark, who was going to put a restraining order but didn't on you. He faked it. If it becomes necessary, we could do that.
I'm not worried about that, John. Look, the whole world can put a restraining order on me. A restraining order does. Do you know what that does,
you know what
John?
a restraining order does?
Absolutely nothing.
Cases, Bob.
I can still do videos talking about you all I want. In fact, I think I might do a series on John and Kelly Taylor.
Well, you do
that,
Bob.
My freaking God.
They're right here.
How about we talk about John and Kelly Taylor for the next 10 years and muddy up your freaking name because you won't shut the fuck up
because that's what people want to hear. More
die down.
Let Kelly Taylor. Let Kelly. Let Kelly Taylor defend your accusations. Kelly, have you heard what Bob has said?
Yeah, that I own a massage parlor. Wow. That's no, I never have. I can't even give a massage. I've never owned a business. I'm a firefighter, paramedic, retired, and a former photographer. That's it. Never had a massage parlor. Never masturbated to Mark Connors with a pink rabbit dildo on Skype, like Mark claims.
I believe
never
you said that when you were privately arguing with him on his radio station on YouTube. That came out of your mouth.
No, it did not.
Yes, it did.
Bob, you're a wet brain alcoholic.
Don't find Rob behaving because I don't have access to my PC for another couple of days, so I get my battery in. Rob behaving has all of these files on his PC too, and he can show you proof right now that she used to own an adult massage parlor. In fact, she didn't know one
wife
of them.
was a porn
She owned
star.
8 of
Jennifer Mills. I mean, your information is alcohol wash, Bob. You're a wet brain alcoholic, and
I'm not drinking. I'm not drinking.
But the damage is done.
But you can wake up over the damage done because he had a beer. Do you know how stupid you sound right now? You're a fucking whore bitch, and just because you're owed money, you go fucking hounding somebody to the end of their lives. It's time to fucking stop because now do you know how much damage you probably done to the victim, the supposed victims of Mark Cruz?
My God.
You know how much damage you've done to everybody surrounding everything that you touch? You're like the walking death. You're a filthy slut whore. And just because he owed you $150 and wanted you to come over again that night and strap on his dildo and stick it to him for an hour and a half for $150, you get mad at him and you won't stop. You won't stop until he pays you the money.
This is the kind of shit that we've been doing with.
Wow, wouldn't it be great to have old money?
Yeah. See, Mark has told these stories for the last 4 years, and he's got low IQ sycophants
that buy it. And like I said, as long as he
and high IQ though, high IQ. I see some high IQ people falling for it.
Possibly. I don't know what the problem is.
Yeah.
But he keeps trying to put himself near children. And that's our focus on Mark. And whenever we expose him and let somebody know Mark's sick truths, then he comes after us.